Get a little red cup action early in the
Red
morning.
Cup action. Uh-oh.
Get the red cup action. I might not be the GC today, bro.
Oh no. What they do to Shaun?
I don't know. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I'm your guy, Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics. This dude right here, he's the original Lucky Lefty, Malik Zaire. At Overtime, Malik and Malik Zaire 8. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com is that premium American whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. If you decide to drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. I'm going to come in hot for a minute, LL Nation. And just so you all know, we appreciate you all so much, man. We're approaching 2,400 subscriptions, subscribers, and man, everything is wonderful. Our success and our growth is directly plugged into you. Last week, we did 2 shows that I consider probably the most controversial, 2 of the most controversial shows we've ever done. Didn't get the likes that we normally get. The great thing is we got the views based upon what was said on those shows. Well, we didn't get the love, right? We got DMs, text messages, all types of stuff. People hitting us up. The building was mad at us. But you know what? We stood our ground because we don't put that bull out there. We're not about narratives. We rarely put information out that needs to stay confidential. Some people even confused us or accused us of not being assets to the program, which I was like, yo, that's one of the biggest jokes in the world. Nevertheless, we stand here today as things continue to play out, being proven correct. So it's amazing how, and we're going to continue to be proven correct. We stand on that. We die on the hill of the things we said in those 2 shows. And with that being said, it's amazing how the fan base after those 2 shows went into, back in the day, you talk to a girl and then she plays you a little bit. And then, once she plays you, you're like, I ain't like her no way. Right?
Yeah, I ain't like it anyway.
I really wasn't feeling it anyway.
Yeah, I was just playing around.
And so yo, it's funny how the Notre Dame fan base, man, once all of the smoke was up about that 2024 quarterback commit and what was possibly happening, all of a sudden started speaking about another quarterback in the 23 class in the same vein. Well, I always liked him better anyway. I think he's a better quarterback. Like, I really never thought he was an elite quarterback. Like, man, stop lying. Stop.
Stop the cap.
So you know what I'm happy about? Regardless of what happens, Elite 11, day 1. I'm happy my boy went out there and kicked all their asses.
That's right.
All the stuff swirling. All the stuff swirling. I'm coming in hot, bro. All the stuff swirling. I'm glad my boy went out there and said, "Oh, y'all forgot. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot. All the top dudes went out there and kicked their ass day one. He's gonna continue to do the same. Coming in hot today, dude. So to look, we're blessed that we actually have relationships that are going to build and be there beyond what school certain individuals pick, right? I still talk to CT. You still talk to Dante. It's going to stay that way. It's going to stay that way. Cam Williams. I talked to him before the Notre Dame offer came. Justice Scott, St. Ignatius. Had a relationship with him before the Notre Dame offer came. I'm shy till I die. Anybody moving in this city, oh, we're going to have a connection. So it's just amazing to me, man. Like, don't do that as a fan base. It's cool. If things go left, you can still be cool. You know, you don't have to act like you didn't like Dante Moore. You don't have to act like that.
You don't have to act like that.
No, it's cool. If he goes elsewhere, all right, fine. But you don't have to act like you didn't like him. Like, let's not do that. Someone responded. This is the funniest thing, right? Someone, I forget, responded in a comment after the show. You know, because I always, because we appreciate you guys so much, always respond to your comments that you post after watching the show live. Someone said that Dante wasn't a deep ball thrower and didn't have an arm. And I laughed. And he said, you know, I watched a couple of games and he was inaccurate. And I laughed.
That's the don't do that take. That's the don't do that take.
And I laughed. And what comes out from multiple, whether it was 24/7, The Athletic, multiple publications after being at day one, elite arm talent. You know, I love it, man. I love it. When people get mad because things don't go their way, and then they want to find reasons why they don't like this guy to make themselves feel better about how everything is going. Look, man, look. I'll say this. If indeed Dante Moore ends up in Notre Dame, it would be the greatest accomplishment in recruitment in the last 5 years.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. If somehow, some way, Dante Moore still ends up at Notre Dame, it would be one of the greatest recruiting accomplishments in the last 5 years. Just considering everything that has transpired.
Just considering everything, that would be the last.
That's all. That's all. And I'm actually GC today, bro. There's nothing in my red cup. Just a little lemonade. That's all. There's nothing in my red cup. Nothing made me come in hot.
Is it smoking mirrors or what?
You know. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm just happy. I'm happy for your boy. I'm happy for your boy. I think he went into the Elite 11 with a chip on his shoulder, with a purpose chip on his shoulder. Like, okay, word, y'all must have forgot. I'm the dude in this class. I'm the dude in this 23 class.
Well, you know he got that Midwest swagger to him, so he gonna come back the right way.
So salute to you, bruh, today. Young Detroit King. Salute to you. I like how I did that since he goes to King High School in Detroit. Salute to the young Detroit King. Go ahead and extend the lead even further in day 2. Go ahead. I heard Jackson Arnold had a good day too. So, salute to all the guys out there. Ooh, I just had to get that. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's get into the bag, man. Let's talk about the linebacking core. We can jump right to it today, man. We'll say the recruiting for the end. Charles Jagasaw. Actually, I'll be driving out to Glen Bar South this evening to be live and in person for Cam Williams' announcement at the high school out there. Should be a pretty good time. Got a chance to talk to him last night. Definitely check in with him a little bit tonight. And then Charles Jagasaw early Thursday morning. Connor Nepper, man, if that's the case, I agree with you, man. I said that a month ago. Like, if that's what he wants to do, then it's all good. Linebacking core at Notre Dame. Space and pace. Space and pace. We talked about a little bit in teasing today's show. We talked about how important it would be for Notre Dame to kind of establish things with this new linebacking core. And you have to be happy from what you saw at the spring game. You have to be happy with what you saw at the spring game. The performance of Maris Lufau with the combination of Junior Tua Lamaka and Jordan Botello. Man, speed, playmaking, getting into the backfield, just wrecking havoc. Just wrecking havoc. And with all of that being said, all of this goes back to the anchor of what's to come. And you really can go back to the arrival of Marcus Freeman and his identification immediately at the upgrade that needed to take place at the linebacker position that led to Junior Tualamaka, Nolan Ziegler, Josh Burnham, and Jalen Sneed in his first recruiting class at the linebacker position. He recognized we need more speed and length at the position, more athleticism. And he got that in abundance. And he's continuing to add to that in the 23 class. So you think about that, you point back to what most people consider a low point. Once again, post-game Fiesta Bowl, J.D. Bertrand.
He prepared us really well. He had us ready for the high tempo. He had us ready. Like, it wasn't schematically. It was the little details of we missed tackles. We didn't win the 50-50 balls, those little details. And we need to make sure we do that better. And it's on us. And going into the next season, I just want to make sure I focus on the fundamentals, the little things like finishing leverage tackles, not going 1-for-1 for blocks, just every little detail, just being able to enhance it. And then just being able to take that next step in leadership and be able to help this team become the team that we want to become.
There was. Whether or not Notre Dame fans want to accept it, and they want to talk about schemes and adjustments, the players didn't get it done. And that's a player after the game telling you, dude, we knew what was coming. We knew what their adjustment was going to be once we jumped on them early. That's the only thing they can go to. That's the only thing they had to go to that could work. And when they went to it, We didn't make the plays. We didn't make the tackles. We didn't get the 50-50 balls. We didn't take advantage of the opportunities to create turnovers. That's what this linebacking core is going to lead the charge in doing. That's the expectation, that they're going to lead the charge in making big plays, getting on the other side of the line of scrimmage, making big plays via the blitz, making big plays more than likely in the zone packages on third down, combos, double teaming, especially on the interior. You might see a lot of different looks. I saw someone post, how are we going to attack Jackson Smith and Jigba? He's going to be on the interior. Tariq Bracy's going to be on him. But I don't think it's really going to be Tariq, this is your guy. There will be some opportunities for Tariq to be one-on-one with him, but it's going to be a combination. We're going to run Junior under him. We're going to run Jordan under him. We're going to bring Brandon Joseph over the top. And we're going to be in zone. Or we're going to make it look like man, pass them off. It's going to be a lot of things because what we're looking to do is dominate with the depth we have on the defensive line and dominate what some might call, they have a great left tackle. They have two good pieces on that Ohio State offensive line, but collectively, this is not one of the best Ohio State offensive lines that you've seen.
No, they have a really good tackle.
Yeah.
Like you said, but they're not. I'm not taking them over us.
No. The depth and the ability on the defensive line for Notre Dame, as this game wanes on and gets deeper, we should start to see our ability to take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's going to be a battle of the trenches where we do have the advantage and the experience. Not only do we have guys that are draftable guys, we got young guys that are very experienced. We got veterans like Patterson, but defensively, we got veterans like Fauski. We got up-and-coming guys like Mills and Howard Cross. So I think the battle of the trenches is in our advantage, but nobody's talking about it.
No.
Everybody wants to talk about what CJ Stroud and the receivers got, but CJ's got to have time to throw the football. And that's something that's going to be a major player in this game that I think is our biggest asset that people aren't giving us credit for.
And it's keeping it real because the clip we played from J.D. Bertrand post-Fiesta Bowl was a clear understanding of, talk about that, bro. The clear understanding of the players to be like, you know what? This is on us. Like, we had the opportunities to seal this game, to make plays. We didn't get it done. Now we go back to the drawing board and we get better. Because as we said yesterday, there was two factors. Like, we got about every ounce of juice or every ounce of squeeze out of Kaiser and Bertrand last year. Guys that really weren't considered going into camp as guys that were going to contribute as many plays defensively as they end up having to because of injuries.
And that's something that this year I think we can expect and be more comfortable with, considering we have a lot more depth at all those positions. And if anything, guys are playing both ways. So if we run out of receivers, Xavier Watts can come over. We got guys that can do both, which is in November where we have to play better anyway. I think the depth is what matters, and being healthy is what matters, or is a huge factor at that point in the season. And what we got right now, even with Jadarian Price having a slight injury that may keep him out for a while, we're still deep. We were trying to talk about how we're going to find Jadarian Price the football as opposed to being like, we don't have any other options.
We were saying, how are we going to get him touches?
Yeah, we were saying
we expected him to have 15 carries.
We were thinking new ways to get two footballs on the field for a guy like that. Not having a plan. We got a plan. It's just a lot of pieces to it.
So it comes down to, in my opinion, crowd, nighttime. I think most people would say Notre Dame wants to jump out early, or Notre Dame needs to jump out early. I disagree. I think Ryan Day and Ohio State want to jump on Notre Dame early.
Yeah, I think Ohio State always starts slow in big games at home. Going back to Oklahoma, going back to Penn State,
The Oregon game last year.
even though they
first
got on
game of the
early,
year up in Minnesota, they started slow.
And I think our advantage this year is, unfortunately for them, starting fast. I think this year we're gonna jump out on Ohio State just due to everything that we talk about leading up to the season. Even to the fact that our Marcus Freeman came way fresher than Ryan Day when they had that sit down. I just think all of that is going to play into us at least scoring the first couple touchdowns or points in the beginning. Our thing is, how are we going to finish? I think we're a great front running team right now. Everybody and their mama talking about national championships, this, that, and the third. But do we have the caboose to back it up? So that'll be our battle. I think Ohio State's battle is, yeah, we want to start fast, but can we really kick it in when we need to? So I think if they get down early, I think it'll be an advantage for us because we have the offense to just ride you out. Well, we can't get down to them at any point greater than 10 points, in my opinion.
Yeah. See, I believe they want to jump out early because you don't want to get into a brawl, because that plays right into Notre Dame's hands.
Yeah, that's what we want. We want to.
If it's a 4-quarter physical game,
that's what we want.
Fight, let's do it. Yeah. Right? We want to take you into deep waters in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Don't have us. Yeah, if you get us early,
right,
you might got us. Because I don't think we've ever been a team to really battle back down 14 plus. It's always our games are we together to the end. But anytime we play a good team like a Clemson and they get up 14 before half or whatever, them games are just like, man, we just trying to get the hell up out of there.
I mean, previously, yeah.
I mean, shoot, even the Clemson game we won, that was neck and neck to the end when we ran on the field.
That I keep telling you that does not count.
It don't count. I don't think it counts either.
That was a pandemic storming of the field. It does not count. It does not count. Lucky Lefty podcast. I think we both agree that we want to see not so much. I won't say less blitzing.
Yeah, I won't say less blitzing.
More efficient blitzing.
I want to see like you said, hitting home.
I think our blitzing got to the point where teams could recognize when it was coming based upon situation, down, and distance.
Yeah, we just became a blitzing ass team. Like 80% of the time they're gonna do something.
Yeah.
So we just gotta have it built in offensively to handle it. Instead of being like they're pretty much base, but then they'll catch you if you falling asleep. We're not catching no teams by surprise for blitzes. That's the one thing we're not doing. I think if we're gonna become a blitzing team, like you said, let's be efficient and be like, all right, on third down, teams ain't getting out alive. So we got to make a game plan for it, as opposed to they blitzing all the time. So we're just going to keep a tight end attached and just rock on from there.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Michigan, when I was at Florida, first game in Michigan, they had the scouting report. They blitzed me literally 80% of the snaps. It was such a stupid-ass game. 80% of the snaps they blitzed me, and that's the game plan. So I'm thinking like, this is ridiculous. We had no answer for it.
Yeah.
So only way I know that's because they told me. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought that was a thing, but it is. So for us, if we had the right game plan, it would have been bad for the other team. But it can work, but it's not a surprise to anybody.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. I'm so excited to see Maris Leah Falmer.
I'm
I think
excited.
that's the question of the day. That's the question of the day, LL Nation. What player are you most excited to see play? Jadarian would have been right up there.
Yeah, Jadarian would have been up
Prior
there.
to
Jaden
injury.
Mickey.
Jaden Mickey, shout out. You'll have him on IPC tonight.
No, I had him yesterday.
Oh,
Had
that's
him
right.
yesterday.
You had him yesterday. My bad. Tuesday. It is Wednesday.
Hey, the week's moving fast now. I ain't blaming you.
I know. Days, man. I got all these commitments coming up and everything. It's going by too fast. I was in Bible class when you had him on. So, what stood out?
Man, I think he's just what I really like about Jay and Mickey is that he's refreshing, man. Everything that we talked about, what Notre Dame wasn't doing right in recruiting, he's every answer to that question. I mean, he's refreshing. He's about football. He loves where he's at. He sees the value in Notre Dame. And he's not taking no stuff. He wants Notre Dame to be where it should be, where the fan bases want it to be. And you're hearing it vocally from a young guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell the way he's talked, why he's become one of the fan favorites early on in his career. We joked a little bit about putting that 21 in the bookstore. He want the fans to get his jersey.
Yeah.
So I think because he's a fan favorite, it's the energy he's bringing. He's not afraid of nothing. He wants that DB room to be known as a staple of Notre Dame football, which is important because we haven't had we've had guys that have been vocal in the DB position, but not vocal on the standpoint where the narrative is changing, where it's like, okay, they got Cam Hart, Brandon Joseph, Jaden Mickey, Tariq Bracy. That's a dangerous room,
Right.
He wants that to be the essence of what Notre Dame is bringing back, and all of it is inspired and the batteries put in their back by Marcus Freeman. He was even making some comments on how Marcus Freeman is you just get the real deal in the room. He's bringing the right energy and what it needs. He said he felt like the national championship talk was right when Marcus Freeman walked in the door. He was like, yeah, I can't really tell you about BK, but when Marcus Freeman walked in there, everybody knew that's where we were headed. So, it just said it confirms a lot of what we suspected about what Marcus Freeman's impact at Notre Dame has been. But Jaden Mickey, man, I think he's going to be one of those favorite players in the season for a reason. He knows that he's smaller, but he got plans for it. He got a whole, reason why they're going to be trying him, but he's going to be able to step up to the plate. So excited to see him play. I think if anything, it'll be a really good thing for Marcus Freeman in his early coaching career to have a true freshman like Jaden Mickey start at a position group where, you kind of been wanting veteran guys because it hasn't been the staple it should have been. But for him to be a lead player for recruiting, he can turn to recruiting, be like, look, I started a freshman my first year, freshman All-American potentially, you never know. So I like what he's doing over there. And Jay Mickey's going to be the man, man. I think he's not afraid of anything coming his way.
Yo, got some interesting comments, Jay Henry. Thank you for tapping in. He wants to see Brandon Joseph. Brandon Plinser. He wants to see Lorenzo Styles and Tyler Buckner. D-Monk, Mr. Food Lover. Dude, that's funny. What's your favorite food, Mr. Food Lover? He's like you, bro. Because if anyone follows your Facebook page, that's all you do is post recipes, bro. That's all you do.
I'm trying to inspire the ones out there, man. Look, it's good eats everywhere. You just gotta get the right recipe.
Oh man, Connor Nepper says Junior and Sneed.
I'm really excited to see who's going to be the breakout player offense that we're not talking about, because Michael Mayer, Lorenzo Styles, Tyler Buckner, that's what we need to make happen. But who is going to be the guy that's like the Chris Finks, the do it all guy that you really need? Chris Tyree, is he going to be the guy that we just when in doubt give it to him? Yeah. Who's going to be that guy for us outside the guys we're expecting?
Joe Long tapping in, saying it since first game last year. Maris, I'm right there with
He's
you.
got a lot of hype now. He
Yes,
got a
yes,
lot. He
yes.
got a lot of hype for not playing a lot yet. So
I want to see TB on offense and Cam Hart one-on-one with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I think it would be really cool to see Tariq and Cam switch sometimes, just because Cam's a bigger guy. Him and Tariq Bracy, and it, let Cam evolve a little bit, play a little bit inside. He's a bigger guy.
Let Cam get his Derwin James on. That's what you
Man, I mean, Cam's length is like, man, he can really. Tariq's got the agility and stuff, but the size of Cam with a guy like Jackson and Jigba in the inside would be pretty special. I mean, it'll give a chance like a Riley Phillips to play outside. It'll give some chance to some younger guys to get in and keep Cam in there. But Cam at this point can play inside, outside to help his draft grade at least.
Yeah, I got Antoine Porchado, Mickey Styles Jr., Lindsey, Buckner, Joseph. Basically, he just wants to see the whole squad.
He wants to see the highlights. Yeah,
man. So it is amazing. No one has really brought up Foskey, man.
He's such a all right. He's gonna give us 13. Foskey is such a. We know what we're getting, and we're comfortable with that. That he adds into the reason why we're guaranteeing 9 to 8 wins. Because we can look on our team and be like, oh, we got Foskey. Okay, that's 8 wins, 9 wins.
Yeah.
We're not giving him the Chase Young a credit. I don't know. I don't know why we're not. But we know for a fact that when you think about what is Marcus Freeman's year going to look like from a first year, you're confident in saying 8 or 9 years because of a guy like Foskey on the roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I feel national championship with Foskey? He's going to be a big piece. I think we all know that. That's why we not talking about it. That our success a lot rides on Foskey, but that's just the foundation. Now we add all the other stuff on top of it to be like, okay, a TV could turn the tables,
Right.
The Styles Jr. can pop off. We really go somewhere.
Right.
But we can't get off the ground without Foskey, and I think that's just what everybody knows.
Marcel, thank you for tapping in. Oh, I love that hat with the interlocking ND, bro. Meredith and Jaden Mickey.
Defensively, man, there's a lot of guys I want to see.
Yo, this is a good one, bro. This is a good one. I am interested in seeing Harry Heastand's fingerprints on these 2 tackles.
Yeah.
They showed promise last year.
But you know what's good? They're babies. So they don't got all them bad habits from the old guy.
They don't have a lot.
They don't have Blake damn near don't have any because Blake was hurt.
When I was talking about how Harry Heastand worked with fundamentals so much, right? Combo blocking, working together, moving as a unit. Not so much fundamentals individually, but learning how to work together, when to move off a guy, get up to the next level, having them move as a unit off the field, on campus, like that mentality is more than you just being a great tackle.
That's right.
This whole unit has to be great.
And that's probably what Jagasaw saw too.
Yeah.
When he was just sitting down, he was like, man, I know I'm a great player individually, but probably found so much interest in how that plays a part of a whole offensive line, which, you can only go to certain guys that really can explain it.
Yeah.
And for he said to be ranked 34th, I'm still upset about because, like, how do you get that deep?
Man, look, man, I think those spots in those polls are bought, man. Like,
like, good grief. That's
and Marcus then cough up the check or something because
if we got 34th ranked offensive line coach, we wouldn't be competing for no championships or nothing. Because come on now.
Yeah.
That means your offensive line gotta be trash, which means that would make everything else around us make us an NC State or something, average team in a row.
Yeah. Will Chestnut. Thank you for tapping in, bro. He wants to see Cozy.
I don't know how much action he gonna get this year.
Red zone. He's the red zone dude.
I don't even know that.
He's the red zone dude. He would be my red zone dude.
Michael Mayer is my red zone
Like,
guy.
throw it up. Nah, dude, you know, wait a minute, dude. Michael Mayer has to prove he's not going to drop passes in the red zone.
Yeah, that's true.
Michael Mayer dropped a lot of passes in the red zone over the last 2 years. As cold as he is.
That's very true. He didn't dropped a lot of gimmies. A lot of gimmies.
So,
but Deion Cosley, like I want to see him, but you know, you got Tobias Merriweather. You got
good point.
Who I think is him and he's just I'm not gonna say a better Deion Cosley, but man, you got Braylon James getting in there.
Yeah.
And I really think that from a receiver standpoint, there are gonna be some freshmen in the mix.
Yeah. Here's a good question for you, bro. And I say it's a good question for you because you are the world's biggest Cincinnati Bengals fan. I didn't even know they still existed until last year.
Oh, now you don't know they. Oh, that's crazy.
What role and how big of a role do you guys think Xavier Watts will play in Al Golden's defense?
Man, when you talk to these guys, some of these guys on the team, they just be like, look, I just want to get in where I fit in and make plays. I think because there's a lot of guys like Xavier Watts, just raw, talented, coachable guys. I think he's going to find his way in the rotation. Fortunately, because it's everybody's first year, I don't think anybody has the demand of being on the field at all times. Even Brandon Joseph and Cam, like I think Cam will be out there most likely the most, but not all the time. I mean, just due to the fact that we got a lot of guys that are new to this system and what Marcus Freeman wants to build anyway. So I think Xavier will get his chances to get in there, and hopefully with his skill set, I hope he's in there a lot.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a deep room this year. It's a lot of guys in there. So not having film on a lot of guys in this system that you can be like, oh yeah, he's just gonna roll out there.
Yeah.
We'll find out. But I think he'll be a big help when it comes to stopping the run and putting a guy in there to come downhill and stop the run. That's what some Al Golden will like. Maybe in a nickel package, he can be a skinny, big linebacker or something to handle some speed or something. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and we haven't mentioned Prince Colley. We haven't mentioned Bo Bauer.
Yeah.
You know, who Bo Bauer usually was that third down guy to come in and play in the nickel, you know. And like I said, J.D. Bertrand and Jack Kaiser, like I tip my cap to them, you know, we talked about it yesterday because they were put on the spot, asked to step up and play above what the expectations were preseason last year. And you got every bit of juice out of Bertrand and Kaiser.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to have successful seasons. Now they get back into a rotation, a healthy linebacking core. You know, you got Maris and Josh Burnham right there in the middle. And I'm going to be honest with you.
I think Bertrand is great because Bertrand is a great filler for a role in a linebacker unit that's learning as a young group. He's experienced enough. He's well coached enough to maybe not be a full 80 snap starter, but a guy that can get in there and show the young guys, get them comfortable, get them communicated, and make enough plays to get those guys to make plays as well. So even though he may not be the star linebacker of the group, I think J.D. Bertrand is just as important.
Yeah. And, you know, going into the spring, you know, you have guys projected. And the next thing you know, you see Junior Tuihalamaka getting reps with the first squad out there next to Maris on the same squad in the spring game. And you start to say to yourself, like, man, you know, this freshman class of linebackers that specifically were recruited to elevate the room, they're already doing that.
Yeah.
They're already doing that. All of them came in early, got into weight training. Most of them needed to put on some weight, especially Jalen Sneed. And then, like you said, you start to forget that Bo Bauer is still on the roster, that J.D. Bertrand and Kaiser are still on the roster, and then Jordan Patello is out making plays, and he's another guy that has the injury bug, having to get over that and stay healthy, and hopefully he can do that. Came back at the end of last season. You start to see all of these different pieces that Al Golden can use in different looks and different situations. You feel pretty good. You feel pretty good about the game plan going into the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good once you start seeing all the top recruits commit. That means that they got a whole cluster of elite talent to commit to a plan that was put in place by a coach that they believe in. So the recruiting is the first tell to let you know if they got things going in the right direction or at least believable.
Yeah.
But for us to amass the amount of talent we have, specifically at linebacker, which was an area of concern, for them to come in early and then be able to play themselves in a rotation shows that not only was recruiting, we were right. We got some good players.
Yeah.
But two, we got guys that are bought in at a young stage in the program to where this is how you develop consistency when you got young guys making plays early, guys that are not in yet, watching that, and then a coach that has a plan to be productive and win championships.
Yeah, I think there was a conversation going back to the way you talked about Xavier Watts. There was a conversation earlier in the year, early spring, looking at the lack of depth that they had, especially going into spring. They didn't have the numbers at wide receiver. He was recruited as a wide receiver, moved to the defensive side of the ball. They talked to him about moving back. He said, no, this is my home. This is where I want to be on this side of the ball. And now, the buzz after spring is he's the type of kid that in certain packages can sneak up into the box, right? He's a solid tackler. He can sneak up into the box, but at the same time have the versatility to be on the back end, play a lot of robber in the middle of the field, and take away the intermediate passes. You have that type. I'm telling you, man, you might see Notre Dame with 3 safeties on the field at the same time.
And they might be safety linebacker types.
And they're going to show that because that's what they're selling to a Don Shula, Peyton Bowen, and Caleb Downs.
That's the Kyle Hamilton package.
Like, yo, we can play all of you at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that's something they're going to be able to do this year, depending upon the package. I don't know if you see it at Ohio State. You might see it at Ohio State.
Yeah, we're going to see it at Ohio State for sure.
Put Maris in the middle. 3 safeties.
DBs all around.
Yes. Yes. And go get the quarterback. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But you have to like the depth. The coaching they're getting from Laurinaitis and Al Golden at the linebacker position, along with those GCs.
Yeah, I mean, this is like going to one of them. This is like going to one of those IMG academies.
Yes.
We got top tier coaching, top tier players, top tier facilities. This is at this point in Notre Dame's tradition and football program. This is the time you want to be here because everything's fresh. The indoor is still fresh. Talk to Jay Mick. He said that's his favorite place on campus. He said he just likes sitting in there. I like sitting in there when I visited.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I'm excited to see the whole kit and caboodle come out. I think the one thing you can say is that from a depth standpoint, I don't think there's any team on the schedule that I'm just like, man, we're outmatched where we can't find a matchup for it. I think there's many things with these teams we could just throw combinations at.
I haven't felt like that. The only time I felt like that was the semifinal matchup against Alabama.
Yeah.
With Mac Jones in there, I was like, nah, this ain't good.
Yeah.
This ain't good. They got Najee in the backfield.
Yeah, they got too many. Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah. I'm not feeling good about this matchup. Even when we played Clemson, I was like, we can match up with them.
Yeah, we could match up with not Bama though.
No. That's like a whole nother level.
That's a whole nother that's like 2 more recruitment cycles. But the thing is though, this year, I think we can present a challenge. We don't have a quarterback for Bama yet. and until proven, I'm not gonna say we don't have it. Until proven, we don't have it yet.
Yeah.
But everywhere else, we outside of maybe. I mean, I don't know. Will Anderson obviously is the best player out of the two teams, but Foskey is not no far drop off. So outside of Will Anderson,
Don't forget
Foskey, we
Dallas.
can
Don't forget that dude Dallas Turner though.
okay. Now
Don't be- Come on, man. They got that next dude. It's like the one dude is getting ready to leave, but that next dude is already there. He's already there on the other side, and that's
we don't got a next dude yet.
That's exactly what Marcus Freeman is trying to establish.
Well, Jordan Patello could be that.
But Foskey is that dude.
Yeah.
Like, who can jump up from this freshman and sophomore class and be halfway? Because Dallas Turner didn't show up until like week 9.
Until the damn near was over.
Week 9, all of a sudden he pops. Like, who's going to be that screen popper? That young screen popper that week 8, 9, all of a sudden becomes a factor late in the season going to the football playoffs, like Alabama is able to do every year.
Every year.
That's what Marcus Freeman is trying to do. He's trying to create that competition, that development. You might not see guys early, but come November, when other guys are getting tired because they've had a lot of plays, okay, now here comes the
our
young
Dallas Turner, if we can get him, would be Impemba, in my opinion. I think we can get, if we get Impemba, that'd be our Dallas Turner.
But we'll see on this roster, that for me would be Jalen Sneed. Right? That would be
He's
that
just
would be
small.
the
He's just,
guy.
he gotta get some weight on him. If he got some weight on him.
That's my point.
Yeah.
You get some weight, but he's so good. He's so fast.
Good.
Like what? Because Dallas Turner is probably going to gain another
15, 20.
Right?
So, but he was already fast and had a little bit of a frame.
Right. So it could
maybe he could Jalen Sneed,
it could be
the
Jalen
season
Sneed,
get bigger or something.
It could be Nolan Ziegler. Offensively, I actually think Tobias Merriweather makes an impact earlier.
Him or Braylon.
Earlier than that. It could be Tyson Ford. Tyson Ford could pop. Week 8, 9 on the interior.
Man, Tyson Ford is a big dude.
He's a big dude already. He's already.
He big like a Keon Keeley big. Yeah. Like Keon Keeley is big.
He's already big.
And I'm like, man, like so if Tyson Ford just fill out a little bit.
I remember you seeing Keon Keeley and telling me after you saw him at the blue and gold game, like, damn.
Yeah, he about big as like Foskey,
like quarterbacks.
Like, damn, right?
Quarterbacks in Florida this year gonna be like.
I mean, the dude.
This dude chasing me around all year.
Man, I think it's because some big dude got the big head thing. So that just sets the whole thing on. Like, he's just a big ass guy. Yeah. Like, good grief. But who are we talking about? I really like Tobias Merriweather and Braylon James coming in on the offensive side, just because those are just standout guys when you're just thinking of receiver. You think who's going to replace Kevin Austin, Tobias Merriweather, Braylon James type. The receivers right now for us is just like we got a lot of how do you call them? They not bona fide receivers. They just a makeshift collection of athletes,
Mm-hmm.
They all got like different skills and stuff. Like, one's super fast but not tall, not strong. Yeah. You got a guy that was played about every position. He kind of jack of all trades. A lot of makeshift guys. I think what's interesting, makeshift guys are young guys. So I think from a pure receiver standpoint, Tobias Merriweather, just from thinking about it, I think he has the best chance to make impact early from just being all around. Yeah. I think Braylon James will get in there at some point. But do we have a bona fide number 3
though?
Huh?
You talking about next year?
Next year, yeah, sorry, next year. But I'm trying to think, who do we have a number 1 receiver? Like, what would our number 1 receiver start at another number one school? That's what I'm trying to like. Who is Tyler like? Oh man, Styles is gonna be his go-to, but Styles you wouldn't think of as a number one receiver. You'd just be like, man, that's like a Juju type of guy.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But who is like yo Antonio Brown, yo DeAndre Hopkins, yo Jamar Chase, yo Justin Jeff? You got a really good complimented receiver in Lorenzo Styles, who's like, man, he's a Robin to a nice Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Not that he can't be great by himself, but Michael Mayer can't be his duo.
Yeah.
So thinking about that deep receiver, I'm like, who is even qualified? You know, because none of them I think would be a better talent than Styles right now.
Well, your guy, depending upon his usage, you know, I mean, you feel like Jaden Thomas is going to make some plays.
I think so. I haven't, we haven't seen him in game action yet. But if I'm Tyler Buckner, I'm thinking outside of Michael Mayer, who's my third down? I just know I can throw it his way.
Yeah. And you need that because you know teams are specifically, dude, you already know, especially late in the game, because teams come out and play vanilla early in games, right?
Yeah, I just want to see what you're throwing at
matches, right? You want to see,
all right, you got this, doing this.
Right. So everybody comes out vanilla. But then, especially late in the game, on third downs, they're going to take Michael Mayer away.
Yes.
They're going to say, you're not throwing a ball to him.
Mm-mm.
And we don't think these guys can beat us, which is funny because the Ohio State defensive backfield has been suspect for like the last 3 years.
They are suspect.
They've been suspect.
They don't got no Denzel Wards back there no more, no Brett, no Robies, none of that. They got a bunch of talented guys that pop up on draft day every year. Like, damn, they got another guy. Like, where that guy? But they locking up Purdue receivers.
So look, it goes back to what you said: the 4 to 5 opportunities that Braden Lindsey can get. Right? When you ask the question, what is a breakout year for Braden Lindsey? It's not going to be 1,000 yards. No. Every game, you're going to get 4 to 5 opportunities.
And you better make them, because they're going to be huge.
Yes.
They could be huge.
Yes. And that's what Breezy was for you guys.
And that's what Breezy was.
Chris Brown wasn't getting 10 targets a game, but he got 4 to 5 opportunities every game.
Maybe it's a third down.
Right.
Maybe it's a deep ball. Maybe it's to keep the drive alive. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But if you lived in the role and didn't take the role of I'm a senior, I need the ball all the time, I need to be out there all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that'd be a great, if you do it well, your ass can get drafted. Because you had Notre Dame. That's the consolation prize.
Yeah.
If you do it well enough, you can get drafted on these little ass plays.
Yeah. Facts.
Because they're gonna be game winning, they're gonna be highlights, game winning plays, whatever.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. It is a joy to talk to you guys every day. We talked a little bit about I'm happy about what's going on at the Elite 11. Started the show talking about that. Then we went into linebackers, the guys that you are excited the most to watch play, to finally watch play this season. And then we dug in a little bit more on the impact.
I do want to touch on that. I do want to see the Adamiola's brothers play. I think they have a lot of talent on a Dalen Hayes level. But what I always thought about Dalen Hayes that we never really got everything out of Dalen. Like
Dalen was asked to do a lot.
He was asked to do a lot.
If you had just told him to go get the quarterback every down,
he could be a Khalil Mack. I always thought he was going to be our Khalil Mack. because he was just built like him, and you look like you rushed the passer,
Right.
You look like you be, and the Adam Meolas look like that to me. And I just want to see him really flourish in that role. Be a dominant force where you put up numbers like Fauski, you know what I mean? Not just another D lineman.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. We'll come back tomorrow. Tomorrow, let's dig into the offensive line a little bit, bro. Let's dig into Harry Heaston and the offensive line. And then once we're done with the position groups, we'll start digging into individual players, as we go into fall camp. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, petticoat, petticoat junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
That's right. Petty Junction each and every day. Brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. Go Irish Nate, thank you for the super chat. Petty Junction today. Once again, his second time on the Petty train. In the last week, he's an idiot. I give him about 10% of success for Golden State. And this is why he deserves to be on the Petty train again today. None other than Draymond Green.
Now I have beat the Cavs coming back around without Kevin. And here's why. Teams have figured us out. And I personally don't think at that point Steph Curry had figured out I'm going to get a bucket whenever I want to. I don't think he was capable of that yet. I think he was still growing into that. And so because of that, once teams started to figure our offense out, we were starting to struggle more and more. I'm not sure if you remember that series of OKC where we were down 3-1 and we had to come back. And that's because teams had started to figure it out. And so what then in turn ended up happening was Steph still creates all the havoc that he fucking creates. Like I tweeted, Steph faced so many double teams and Kevin didn't. That's a fact. Like you can go look at the numbers or just watch the game if you can analyze the game better than Skip Bayless. And if you watch the game, then you see that Steph's getting double teamed. And Ty Lue then goes publicly and say, I'm double teaming Steph Curry every chance I get. Kevin wasn't getting double teamed. But the reality is we got to a point where we needed to be able to give someone the ball that can just go get a bucket. And Kevin was already there. I don't think Steph was there yet. So it gets us through those 2 years. We get those 2 championships. But while we're doing that, Steph is continuing to work and evolving. And most importantly, becoming the strongest dude on our team. And to this day, he's the strongest guy on the team. And that allowed him to score whenever he wanted because you can no longer bump him off his path. Like I think about the drive against Al Horford when he was picking on Al Horford in the fourth quarter of Game 6.
Yo, it's so much to throw him on the Petty train for. You can throw him on the Petty train for the Skip Bayless stuff, but you could look. I'll say this: I want to thank him for finally telling the truth. Which he said at the beginning, we would not have beaten that Cleveland team if KD didn't come to join us. I'm glad he was honest. Finally, as much as he talks trash about, you're on mute, bro. As much as he
was honest.
As much as he talks trash about Kevin Durant, he was honest enough to say we would not beat that Cleveland team without Kevin Durant.
That's right.
Facts. I felt like he threw Steph under the bus a little bit.
Because at that point, Steph was a unanimous MVP. During all this, you can't get a shot on your own time.
Well, from that standpoint, I'll say this. I think what he was saying was Steph was so focused on, because Steph is a great teammate, Steph was so focused on working within the offense that once teams figured our offense out, he had not had that switch go off
to break out and get a bucket.
To break out of the offense whenever he wants to go get a bucket. He could do it. He hadn't gotten to that point yet. But the way he said it just made it seem like
Steph was just couldn't do it, and he just found how to do it out of something.
Right, he just figured out how to do it. So, I had to throw him on the petty train, man. I had to. It's like, Dre, what are you saying, man? You're talking in circles. 1 minute you say Kevin Durant, you tell Kevin Durant we won without you, but now you're admitting that you don't win the other 2 championships without him. 1 minute you're saying Steph, was getting double teamed more than KD, but then KD was the guy that could go get a bucket at any time. It's like, what are you saying, man? It's like, what are you saying? You're going back and forth.
I think he's figuring out his role in media is that you got to have more takes than just throwing shade and saying the same points. Because throwing shade at my dog, Skip Bayless, is just uncalled for because Skip know what he's talking about.
Dude, my whole point is, at the end of the day, he proved my point as to why he only gets 10%. That's all I got to say. That's the greatest thing I took out of that video. You have proven to me that you really, I might lower it to 8. I just might lower it to 8%. I'm going to stick with the 10. All of that stuff he said, the importance of Steph, the importance of KD, only strengthens my point as to why I gave him 10%.
Look, that was real fair because I can agree with you on that.
That's all I'm saying.
That was a 10% comment right there that he had.
Dude.
Because at the end of the day, you're like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, dude. It's almost like somebody that talks, and if you let them continue to talk, they'll forget what they said and begin to
just start talking in circles.
Yes. And that's Draymond.
Now they just talking because they know you're gonna listen because of who they are, type of deal.
Facts.
But they ain't got no point.
I'm laughing at dude like
you only interesting because we like that you won. But after you ain't got no point. You just talking.
But once again, why are you the loudest dude on Golden State and you did the least in the last final? Kevon Looney did more than you, fam.
All right. See,
Go look at the stats. Go look at the stats. Kevon Looney contributed more than Draymond Green, bro.
That would mean something if the stats of these games were close. Golden State was beating these fools like it was easy. It wasn't like it was a Kevon Looney got him over the hump.
Bro.
Kevon, everybody played good.
First of all, don't take my words. And that, dude, I never said that.
That's why I'm like, man, we can't keep knocking Draymond's percentages with Kevon Looney and oh goodness. And you said who you get 5% yes to? Andre Iguodala. Like, oh my God.
This is my point. This is crazy. And I see this argument going on between Will and MJW. I can always pinpoint the difference between players. No. Just go watch The Last Dance. Wait a minute. Go watch The Last Dance. 98. Right? Because we know the performance that Draymond Green just gave us. That was evident. The entire playoffs. It was evident. Like, you might be washed, bro. It might be a wrap. You know what I'm saying? That little thread in your little blanket that's going to lead to the blanket being destroyed, that bad fella is starting to fray a little bit.
Oh, goodness.
Dennis Rodman.
Oh, goodness.
When Scottie Pippen decided to be shady and petty and not get surgery in the offseason, and
It
missed,
backfired on him.
and it definitely backfired on him, and missed 2/3 of the season. Who was it that elevated his game to keep everything on track? He went from being a defensive player and rebounder to adding more offense and stepping his game up. That's the greatest. Man, look, Draymond Green cannot hold Dennis Rodman's job. Period. This cat, Dennis Rodman, came in the league guarding Kareem in the post, James Worthy in the post, right? Magic at the point. Man, get out of here. I just watched. They put, wait a minute, game one, Draymond was talking about we ain't Miami. Game one. It took Steve Kerr a quarter in game one to take Draymond Green off Jaylen Brown. A quarter. That was it. Jaylen Brown basted that dude in the first quarter, and he was like, okay, Wiggins, come on over here, man. We got to make a change. Don't tell me about the greatness of Draymond Green. He got basted. His assignment with Jaylen Brown starting off. He tried to bully Jaylen Brown, and he dropped a quick 12 on him in the first quarter, game one, and that was it. New assignment. I don't want to hear that. Stop.
And Jaylen Brown can't dribble.
That's the crazy thing. Jaylen Brown put that dude in the check. Dude.
That's funny.
He put him in a torture rack over his head. Like,
all I'm saying is that Draymond told everybody, don't let him win. And this is what you get. You get a sore winner.
Dude, it's crazy, man. I love y'all, though. I love y'all. I just had to give my boy Malik proof of why I gave Draymond Green 10%.
Yeah, he's acting like 10%.
Of the pie. Sure. That's all. And for him to be, it's like, why are you even saying this right now?
Yeah,
like,
you doing a lot.
Coming off of like, Steph carried you to a championship.
4 of them.
Man. Lucky Lefty podcast, man. We love and appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you spend it different today.